Welcome. Come one, come all to the Infinite Scale podcast. I'm your host. Yeah. Love the enthusiasm. Let's keep it going. All right.
Yeah.
I'm your host, William. Short-lived. That's it, everybody.
What?
And thanks for listening.
Crossley.
No. I'm your host, William Chandler, joined as always by Chris Crossley and Christopher Merced. How are you, fellas? What's going on?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Keeping it rocking and rolling?
Yeah.
Keeping it 100, as the kids say.
Absolutely.
Is it skibbity in your world right now?
I don't know what that. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
I was hoping that you would know. That's all. I've just seen people talking about things being skibbity.
Skibbity toilet.
Yeah. I know I know that skibbity toilet exists, but I don't know. Like, people refer to things as skibbity now.
You guys need to lock in.
Is it good or bad?
I have no clue. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, bro.
Okay, all right. Are you
this guy's speaking? I don't know.
Have you become the Rizzler of your life? All right. What do you? So what's going on?
There's a TFT champion that's a little bear. I forget his name, but it's something Grizzler, and I'd like to pick that one and pretend I'm the Rizzler because it has Rizzler in the name.
Can only one person be the Rizzler? Is it like Highlander?
No, you can have multiple Rizzlers, right?
So we could be a whole squad. If we trained every day, could we be an entire squad of Rizzlers?
Yeah, it's like getting a black belt.
So someone has to teach you.
I mean, they don't have to teach. Well, I guess, yeah, you do have to be taught to get a black belt, huh?
Yeah. You have to be awarded the black belt from someone else. You can't just be really good at fighting and be like, I'm a black belt.
I mean, you I don't know.
I guess you
can I not go into a store and get a black belt and then literally call myself a black belt? Can I not do that?
I feel like
I could.
I suppose you could lie to your friends and family for eternity about having a black belt.
Yeah, you can be like Boogie and just like,
oh Jesus, dude,
stay around forever and never.
Can you imagine, bro? Like, at what point in your mind do you think it's like okay to just lie about having cancer?
How?
You have to be. I don't even.
The thing I don't really understand about that whole story, and I don't want to get into it that much, but the thing I don't really understand is no one checked. I don't know. What do you? I mean, like usually if you have an illness, your friends and family are like with you at appointments and stuff, or you like go to get treatment and they go with you because it's like terrible, or they at least pick you up and drop you off. I don't think
that would be on his girlfriend, right?
Did she know all this time, or
she corroborated it, right? I would assume. I don't know.
I don't. Is it even?
I assume she was like in on it, or didn't care to confirm it enough because the people he dates kind of just, are like obsessed with him in some weird way usually, right? So maybe she didn't care.
I guess that's my question is it 100% confirmed that he was lying? Like it did, or is it just people are assuming that now based on some other things?
Well, Destiny kind of, when he sort of like ate him alive about it, he sort of broke it down in the best way because Boogie's like asking for money from like his community for support for this. And so Destiny was like, well, dude, if you prove that you're this is a real thing. I will give you money right now, like thousands of dollars. And then everyone in the voice chat's like, yeah, we will too. And it's just like, so if this was really about getting the support you need for the treatment, then he could have just proven it there and gotten the support from those people, like Destiny and the other people. But he wasn't willing to do that. He wants to instead manipulate his community for, like, you know, views and money that way, and milk it that way for attention, as opposed to just like, if he actually needed support for treatment, he could have gotten it then and there.
What would be satisfactory proof, I guess? Would it like
it would be so incredibly fucking difficult, right?
I mean,
even if he were to like upload a document, there's no way for us to know if it's real or not.
Yeah, I do wonder where it would end. Is like, if he did show some sort of thing, what's the next thing that people are going to try?
Because that was his point. That was his point. That's what he was saying. Was like I've given you proof for other things before, and it's never been enough. And it's like, okay, I mean, I could see that perspective.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, it's very, very clear that these people, all they were asking for was just anything. Literally, give me anything, and I'll donate money to you. Like that's all that they were asking. So
yeah,
I mean, to turn that down, that's incredibly fucking weird. That's super weird.
Yeah, that was the whole reasoning thing for me. Yeah.
The reasoning of like being like, I just want like this last thing, like this last shred of privacy that I have available to me as a human being. And it's like, okay, well, you wouldn't have gone around talking about how you had fucking cancer and about your medical history constantly if that was actually the case. Like, this is not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think this is more of, even if he could be telling the truth for all we know, but his character and how he's conducted himself in the past has led us to believe that maybe he is being less than genuine with this kind of thing.
That's the other thing, too, is he has a history of lying about this type of thing.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason to believe him either, because he's a liar. Liars lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a reason to believe you. So
he just reminds me of like me when I was a kid and I got caught lying. That's what he reminds me of. Where like he's
that's another thing too.
He's just making shit up, like like
really. That's the other thing too, is like, you can just tell in the way that he responds to the things he's being, like, I don't know, confronted with. It's just like, oh, okay, no, you're clearly lying.
I would safely put money on it. It's not even.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's no doubt at all in my mind that he's lying about having cancer.
That's fucking crazy.
But I mean, like, but how content brain do you get as like an individual?
Yeah.
Where like that's like okay to you, and you'll find some way to circumnavigate back to justifying your actions. Like, I mean, like, I'm sure he kind of has to be able to do, right? Like, after already scamming his own fucking audience. I don't know if you guys watched the CoffeeZilla video, but there's a video of CoffeeZilla having a direct talk with Boogie, basically saying like, bro, you're like literally scamming your fucking audience. Like, and the whole time he's just justifying it the whole way through. So it's just one of those things where it's like he might be justifying it because he knows he's in front of an audience, but I truly believe he's also justifying it to himself, knowing that he's lying to himself. So
I don't even know who CoffeeZilla is, so he's taking a turn away from my knowledge.
You might actually like him. He's pretty cool. All he does really is he does like deep dives into financial scams and stuff. So not just like crypto scams, but just scams in general. So that's like what a lot of his content is centered around. He's pretty cool.
Okay. Interesting. I'll have to check it out actually. Well, you know who's not lying? Kindly Mikola.
Definitely not.
I don't think he's lying at all.
He genuinely believes what he's saying.
Yeah, I just think I think he's a child in the brain and body, I guess.
You think he's got child brain?
I think he's got the child brain syndrome, yeah. I think
is his brain smooth?
Tragic.
No.
Like
a child's.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Okay.
It's like a rubber sphere at the moment.
But you could be a smart child.
No, you can't.
Even if you're a very capable child, you're still limited to being a very capable child. Like, there's no, there's still plateaus you can't reach, even if that's what you are. And that's what Mikola is a very capable child that is given the opportunity of godhood.
Yeah, like I like that.
Yeah.
I like that that's the idea of him, is it's like he has so much potential power, and because of that it's like, now let's see what like basically a god trapped in a child's mind is going to try to do, which is literally like usurp the autonomy of everyone around him, because he's like, no, this is what's best for everyone, I want everyone to be nice to each other, and it's like, okay, but at the cost of like everyone's autonomy. And then that's where like the philosophical differences come in, that's where the growing up comes in. But like, you know, because he has the brain of a child, that's like where it just starts and stops. I think that's pretty cool. His whole like age of compassion thing is really, really neat. I think they did a good job with that. They did my boy Moog dirty, bro.
Yeah. Dodged his allegations.
So
yeah, people calling him Moog Lester. Dude.
He's like 10 to 12 years old. And but he would actually be, he's trapped at 10 to 12 years old, because he would actually be hundreds of years old according to this. So
Yeah.
But he's still a child in body and spirit.
Yeah, any of the named characters would have been alive a long time before.
Same with Millennia. Yeah, Millennia's been around for a long time too.
Yeah, that was the whole thing of like the golden age, right? Is that nobody died.
Yeah. Do we actually think is the corpse in the egg really him, or no?
Yes.
Yeah, I think in a sense, right?
How we get to the how we get to the Shadowlands area is still not fully understood, or exactly where it is. But yeah, I think it's like pretty much like we 100% know that that's his actual body.
I think it's just what used to be a section of the lands between that was sent into the Shadowlands, right? And then now serves as kind of a dark side to the light side, finger quotes, of the lands between. Like it's been sequestered off, so you're literally just like going through a portal into an area that is sealed.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of unclear. I would really like to see someone really try and break it down, but my kind of understanding, really, just one sentence answer, is that it is just like some sort of pocket dimension in this universe that I don't know. The place where the final boss fight takes place, in the trailer, the CGI trailer, you see Marika there doing some crazy shit, and it almost kind of seems like that's where she was when she like came into power. So that being said, I don't fully understand what the Land of Shadow is or what's going on there.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it just seems like some sort of pocket dimension that you could say exists in the shadows, because, you know, Eastern fucking like fantasy stuff, like they really like to tap into like shadow realms and things exist in shadows or in darkness, and other, you know, realms existing in shadows or darkness and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know. I don't really know that they, you know, I wonder if there's really not that much to it, and they just were just like, well, we don't want to add to this map. We want to just take them somewhere, and then fuck it, we'll just put it right here at this body.
I think the stuff that interests me the most in the DLC in Shadow of the Erdtree, we're talking about Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, by the way, for those of you not clued in. So we're gonna talk about pretty much everything. Spoilers abound. But the thing that I think I enjoy the most narratively in the DLC has nothing to do with the main story with Mikola and everything, and it's all just the peripheral shit. Like, it is all of the extra fluff that goes into, like, the NPC backgrounds and quests, I think, are more interesting this time around than they were in the base game, with the exception of the merchants in the base game, which is, like, something that really sticks with me. You remember what I'm talking about? It's like that weird area where the millions of bodies of the dead merchants, you're just like walking on them, and then of course the frenzied the three fingers, the cursed three fingers, which I still cannot figure out what the deal is with that. But
yeah, and I don't know if you know this, I don't know the correlation with like the merchants and the madness stuff, but if you fight any of the merchants in the open world, they do madness attacks.
They do, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I've never or I can't remember if I ever did look into it. I don't know what the connection between them, the Three Fingers, and the Madness stuff all is.
Yeah.
And now there's a whole new like Madness area and boss. I wonder if there's like more to unpack there. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. Other than the exception of like the people looking for Mikola and all their little stories and their journey in search of Mikola and like that, and then when you finally shatter or disable the enchantment that Mikola has over people, and they kind of like reassess, they're like, oh wait, no, this is kind of what I stand for. I'm gonna go against Mikola now, and then that whole thing, and then when you finally get to the boss fight, that is you against Leda and their gang of people that are still gonna support Mikola versus you and the people that have decided you're not gonna, or you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That was like one of my favorite moments of the whole game. I don't know if y'all played it the same way I did or if y'all just soloed it or whatever, but I did the full gang against the full gang. And it's literally just like a fucking street brawl of 6 people or more or whatever it was. And it was just so fucking fun. That was like some of the most fun I had.
No, I agree. I really enjoyed it. I suppose, I don't know how many different ways it can go. I suppose you could end up on Lita's side as well, right?
I don't know about that, but maybe. I know there's a few different options of how that can go, but I'm not sure if you can be on Leta's side. That
really?
would be cool.
Okay, I assumed maybe there was a version where you're on Leta's side and Ansbach is the instigator or something. You know what I mean? Like
that would be cool.
Depending on the dialogue choices and things that you do, because I feel like the way you antagonize Lita is by suggesting that someone is a traitor, and she begins like spiraling down this not trusting anyone thing. Whereas if you suggest no one, maybe she doesn't do that.
I think she does it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
the
you
bitch is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you can just sort of point her in a direction if you want to, but she'll go down that path no matter.
Yeah. It's funny because she's like, I've decided I'm gonna kill Hornsent, and then I'm moving around the ruins and he invades me. Did you guys get that? In the ruins of Ra, you're like in the rot part of the ruins of Ra where all the bug guys are, and I just go up some stairs and he invades me, and he's like, fuck you, and just starts attacking me. I was like, okay, and I killed him there. And then next time I talk to her, she's like, well, taken care of. I'm like, I know, I fucking did it. I'm the one who killed him. You didn't even do anything. I like all those little stories. Talier's story, Ansbach's, I mean, you can't really call it an arc, what Ansbach has, but I like, checking in with him and hearing what he's thinking about. The whole thing where he tells you that Moog's body has been taken is pretty entertaining. Because at that moment you're like, I have no idea what the fuck, that's weird. There's some cool stuff in there. I think the frenzy area with the mansion and the stealth, the Metal Gear Solid stuff could have been better. It's a cool idea. It's at least different, I guess. I did enjoy how different it was. I kind of like how open it is. You just kind of meander around for a while, feeling a little bit uneasy for a bit until you kind of figure out, what's going on. But
I think they nailed their intention there. Like when you go in blind, you don't really know what to expect, and you are very uneasy, and you're like, fuck, dude. Like the first thing you see is an NPC trying to kill you, and he's very good at it. And then after that, you go the other direction. The grabbers are very good at killing you. And so, when you don't really know, it's like, oh, fucking, this is just unsettling. But it's not obviously ever going to have that effect on me again. I'll just go straight to the boss and then be done with that area if I ever play through it again. But I think they nailed it. And I think in the future, they'll be able to do something different like this better, which is exciting to maybe see them dabble with this kind of level approach in a better way. But it almost takes me back to like Demon's Souls a little bit. It's like I'm being forced to engage with the game differently. Like my build doesn't matter here.
It really sold me on the idea, and I've started to feel this way in Sekiro as well. And then they went back on it a little bit in Elden Ring, but they gave you the option to be stealthy if you want. But it really sold me fully on the idea that From Software just doesn't do stealth really right now. Like they're just, it's fine, but like you have to be in the grass for it to function, the tall grass in this area. if you're crouched, you do seem to have some amount of like limited visibility from certain ranges, but those ranges are never really defined. So it's kind of just like, all right, well, it's trial and error at this point. Either it works or it doesn't. It ended up being a thing where I was crouching the whole time in that area for a while until I realized, oh, it's not like they just see you if you're not sneaking, by default. It's just you need to be in their zone of influence, right? Like the grabber guys. Did I tell you that story? I think I told Merced this. The story where a grabber guy the very first time. So I got through the area pretty deep in, but I hadn't found a single bonfire other than the one at the very start. And I got into the area. There's like an area that's like completely blanketed in fog and you can't see anything except like right in front of you, but you hear the grabber guy somewhere in the vicinity. So I'm crouched and he sees me and I'm like, oh fuck, I really don't want to go through this whole area again. So I'm going to find a site of grace. So he grabbed me and I was like, okay, I was hitting him. I'm like, you definitely can't fight back. He did, whatever his amount of damage is. And I haven't been frenzied yet. So I'm like eating the frenzy boluses to try to like not, you know what I mean? But of course, eventually they frenzy you. I was able to tank through the frenzy damage like in perpetuity, as long as I had healing flasks, basically. So I would just keep getting frenzied and it would go down to, the last third of my health. And then I would just drink up and like keep dodging and rolling away. And he followed me all the way around the area until I eventually found a site of grace, a bonfire, and like rested. And it was just really odd. And I was like, I just, apparently, I don't know if nobody was really trying this, but maybe I had enough damage resistance against frenzy or something that made it possible, but it was just so funny. I was like, no, this is going to be an instant kill. I was like, actually, I could just run around, and I just like made it all the way across the map with him running behind me, like jingling his fucking thing or whatever.
I'm almost positive that's what I ended up doing too, because I just didn't want to deal with them. And I'm like, it's going to go. Yeah, and I think he got me the first time, and then once I knew how he could get me if I'm running, I figured out how to fucking not get grabbed while running. I was like, all right, fuck this guy.
Yeah, that whole area felt halfway cooked.
Yeah, but the story of it I really liked. Like, I enjoyed a lot of the lore stuff around it. I enjoyed the vibes of the mansion, even though it wasn't a very hard area, or like, it was pretty linear. The latter part of the DLC is just a straight shot, pretty much. I mean, every dungeon in the last half, just follow the leader, man. I mean, there's no multiple paths. There's no nothing. You're just going, which I thought was interesting. But the mansion area, I liked the flavor of it, even though in another FromSoft game, or in the base game even, it probably would have been a lot more convoluted. You know what I mean? A lot more like illusions and like moving around. You're like, oh, this is like the frenzy zone. This is going to be like Sin's Fortress. And then you get there and it's like they pull like 2 tricks on you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you got to drop through the floor a couple times. You got to move a bookcase for some reason to get to a ladder. And, but the boss of that area was maybe like one of my favorites in the whole thing. So even in the base game, I mean, I just liked Midra a whole bunch.
Yeah, I thought he was awesome. Like, genuinely, it was so worth
fun.
it once I got to him and watched him fucking rip his spine out of his head. I was like, all right, I'm so in.
So cool, and like, it was just a duel. It was just me and him, fucking swords out, rolling around each other. Like, I just had such a good time. Mesmer as well, I ended up enjoying a lot, but
Mesmer's such a good fucking fight.
It's just cool.
Yeah. I mean, genuinely, other than Commander Gaius, I think I enjoyed pretty much every boss almost. I struggle to think of one where I'm like, I don't really look forward to doing that again one day. Like, all the big monstery bosses are pretty fucking cool. Sunflower boss is maybe the one I could take it or leave it, just because it's not that cool or interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else is like genuinely a pretty good time, and I'm looking forward to like fighting a good one.
When I went back to the Sunflower later on after I had gotten some Shadow Tree blessings, I ended up having a really good time with it. But those first few times, it just felt like I wasn't doing enough damage to him. Especially once he gets down to the third full health bar. You're like, all right, okay, I'm running out of healing here.
I thought it was interesting. It was like interesting as a concept. I think if I had to guess, they're gonna do something like that in the future again.
I mean, they're just gonna keep finding little cute ways to surprise you on a micro level. I heard. We'll get to that later. So. Gaius definitely sucks. Some of the dungeon bosses were fine. I liked all of the NPC fights in this one. I thought they were all pretty well tuned. I think really if there's an enemy that I just straight up didn't like, I think by the end I was really sick of the horn guys with the armor on, and they either have one big sword or two swords. You have one in the manor. You end up fighting a few in the golden area, the pretty much last area. You know what I'm talking about?
Whenever I like first started playing the DLC, I was like, these random ass fucking mobs are way too overtuned. I mean, after like a while you get used to them, but it is crazy how fucking hard they hit for just being like what feels like a random NPC that they just drop in your way in between bonfires. So that was like very strange to me.
They keep giving them more and more health too. Like by the end of the game, I was running Ruin's Greatsword pretty much all the way up through the end until I got Rakshana and or whatever the fuck it's called, and that big katana, Rakshasa, the big katana, which I ended up switching to. But I was running Ruins, and I was like, this is legitimately the only guy that I cannot stagger to death, which is really weird. Like it even bosses,
which is fine. It's nice to have enemies that are like that.
That's true, you know? But I mean, you're right. Every once in a while, you need a little bit of I pretty much breezed through all the standard mobs because I could stun lock everyone. But I don't know. It was just odd. It was like, wow, this one guy, I could stagger Mesmer in 2 hits, but I can't stagger this guy at all. It's just very funny.
He's one of the Lion People's greatest warriors. I don't know what the fuck is up with those people. The dude
true.
who
they should have just
Huh? I was gonna talk about in El Ilm, like the dude who just like has a fucking conniption right in front of you and starts shooting lightning everywhere.
Oh yeah,
I was literally just like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Because like he actually kicked my shit in like 4 times, and I was like, "This is not okay, dude.
Yeah.
You don't even have a fucking health bar at the bottom of my screen. I don't know what the fuck is happening."
He almost got me. Yeah, it was really funny too because like it felt as though like some of these guys, like just random, like a random mini boss would be harder than most actual bosses. Even especially in the base game, like you would just run in a random zone. Like I was riding my my horse, and I came across a random monument in like the Cerulean Coast or whatever, and they had another one of those guys who was a dungeon boss. He was like the little tiny guy with the big sword, and he like jumps around a lot, and he turns invisible when he dodges. I think he was the mini boss. He was the boss of that dungeon with the with all the pot people, where they were like, it was like one of the jails where they were cramming them into pots and shit. Anyway, this guy, because I guess they assume you're going to bump into him later, they had tuned him higher than the boss version of himself. And I was just like, this is fucking crazy that they're just loosing one of these dudes out into the world.
It was the scaling for Erdtree definitely, I don't know, in some places just needs like a little bit of like a modification, because there are some times where you'll run into some shit that very clearly is just way overtuned.
Speaking of, Crossley, did you run into the random lion guy out and about?
Yeah. Yeah.
The first boss, first boss for me again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he can petrify you or whatever they call it in it. I think it's Death Blight in this.
Death Blight, yeah,
Yeah.
and he summons all the frogs from Dark Souls, yeah.
What the fuck was that,
Yeah, that's
dude?
crazy.
That took me. It probably took me like 5 or 6 tries. I mean, I was like, "This is fucked up."
I actually cheesed him. Like literally, my first try, I did fine. It wasn't that horrible. Like it definitely would have taken me more tries if I didn't cheese him. But my first try, it gets me right, and then the bonfire for him is like up on a ledge right before him, and I'm like, I can see him right now. I just throw like a ranged thing, and then I just kept hitting him with ranged stuff until he died. And I'm like, all right, cool.
That's so. That is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the model for that character?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's actually
just a mask. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. So like, it's just 2 dudes in in that like lion outfit.
Really?
Oh, okay.
It's like, those like Chinese parades
Right.
that they have.
Yeah.
It's literally that. So whenever he does the move where he like, goes up and then slams down on you, the front dude literally jumps onto the back dude's shoulders.
Oh, that's
As
cool.
the model. Yeah. It's neat. It's just like a neat little thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I didn't have a lot of fun in either of those fights, but not bad. Not bad either.
We also found out that Gaius does not have any legs.
He does not.
Yeah, I thought you knew that. He's referenced as an Albinoric in like either his one of the things that you pick up from him, maybe his soul, actually, maybe his boss soul. But yeah, that's why like after you beat him, you ride up to that cliff edge, and on the way up there's a little shack with an Albinoric woman riding a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was his wife. I don't know. She stepped to me, so I put her down.
Yeah, I remember that definitely. She should have just had a conversation with me. Man.
Exactly, dude. We could have talked.
Just give me your scadu trees, bro. You're not guarding anything.
Yeah, come on. Let's just talk through this. I mean, we enter the lands between, or the Shadowlands, like American soldiers enter any other country. Like, we are just like, we're putting everyone down, dude. We're like, scorched earth. No one. If you look at me funny, if you have a health bar that I can see, you're going down. Like, it is. She like rode out of the shack. Actually startled me. Like, I wasn't expecting anything to be in there. She came out of the shack with the wolf on her back, and I was like, oh fuck. And like I just like swung my big sword and fucking took her out in like 2 hits, and I was like, that was weird. And I read his stuff, and he was an Albinoric, which is strange because like, whose side is he supposed to be on? Like, America certainly wasn't on the same side as Albinorics. So
I think America just truly hated the horn scent.
So you think she was just like, cool, you're on my side now, Albinorics? And they were I guess.
I believe the purge in those lands were just for the horn scent. And then America left the Shadowlands like a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
you found her village, I assume.
So I guess it is possible that the Albinorics and Mesmer just got along. I know Mesmer had like a giant ass fucking army, so it's possible that Albinorics were part of it. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure though.
Yeah, I really liked America's Village and how it had no enemies in it. I enjoyed that.
Well, it had the one dude, right?
Who's the one dude?
With the whip.
With the whip?
Yeah.
You know what he's talking about?
There's a dude, right? Or is there a whip that's just sitting in a shack, or do you kill someone for it? Am I forgetting this?
I just can't remember.
But it is a whip that whenever you pick it up, on it reveals that like the way in which
you're talking about the tooth whip. That's not her village.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Bonnie Village?
It's not in Bonnie Village though.
Is the whip not in Bonnie Village?
The tooth whip is in America's Village.
In the Shaman Village?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Okay. The only things I remember being there, I don't remember picking up a whip, but that's,
I don't think
No, you're right. It's in Bonnie Village.
that's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I just got them confused.
yeah, no, her thing just has the little tree and it's basking the area in like a golden glow, and the music is really nice, and there's a few items to pick up around there, but nothing super
there
crazy.
are items there, but yeah, not a whip.
But I just really I like it when they do that. Like, this area is just here for the vibes. There's no reason for you to come here and fight anything or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. I actually left a note there at the tree. I think it was like, why is it always so beautiful or something like that? And literally, as soon as I left that note, it got rated like 5 fucking times.
Nice.
After I had placed it, and I was like, Jesus Christ. People agree.
Favorite area. What are we thinking?
Favorite area
or dungeon, whatever you.
I know my favorite boss arena is definitely what's her face, Ramina.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
That shit is awesome.
Which one's that one?
The scorpion
lady.
Bitch. Yeah, scorpion centipede bitch.
Yeah. It was a cool zone.
Yeah, I think I don't really know. I really a standout moment for me was when I first got to Cerulean Coast. I remember thinking like that was really cool, but
that area kind of let me down in the end, but there just wasn't a lot there. It felt like one of the emptiest zones in terms of content.
There are a couple areas that are just like, oh, I guess there's really not much to do here. Cerulean Coast and the fucking Abyssal Forest.
True. Yeah, true. I was surprised at how little there was.
Which is crazy because then you go into Shadowkeep, and Shadowkeep is the densest fucking shit that you've ever seen in your life. Like, I didn't even realize that there was like 3 different areas in Shadowkeep.
I realized
it is really dense.
I was when I had gotten to basically the end game, like I knew that burning the tree was going to be the thing, so I didn't do it, and I teleported around and mopped up some stuff. Because I thought maybe burning the tree would be like the point of no return. It wasn't. I mean, it kind of was. Like, I think you then have to go at least part of the way into Ilelm before it'll let you teleport anywhere else. Kind of like how, remember when you got sucked into the ruins in the sky, and then you couldn't teleport away until I think you beat that zone. But Ilelm was the same way, so I kind of thought that would happen after burning the tree. Not at first, because I looked at the map, because I was like, where is this on the map? And yeah, I couldn't teleport until I got to a certain part of Ilelm.
But that's crazy.
I think it actually might be when you get to the first site of grace after it teleports you there in Ilelm, it'll let you teleport from there. Because I think they're like, oh, if we let you teleport away, there's no way for you to get back in. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But so I was like going around mopping stuff up in the game after, like, right before burning that tree that gets you into Ilelm, and I realized I had never gone in the main entrance to Shadowkeep and didn't know even how to get there. And I was like,
wait, what?
The entrance I went in was the far right. It was like the church something entrance. It was like way on the other side. You start out high up, and there's like a little you're like on a rooftop, and you have to jump from rooftop to rooftop to get to the thing that releases the flooding. Did you do this?
I know the area that you're talking about, but I thought you could only get there if you go through the front door of Shadowkeep.
No, because I never did. And actually, I never even figured out how those things connect. Oh, it's through the specimen warehouse, right? You take an elevator. Is that where it is?
I don't even think you get to the warehouse yet. No.
Oh, okay.
There's a ladder you can take Well, I mean, I guess you wouldn't know this because you didn't go through the front door. Wait, did you fight the golden hippo?
I did it like at the end of the game. It was like one of the last things I did.
So yeah, you'd go through there, then you basically
Yeah.
do a weird little loop-de-loop. It takes like 5 seconds, and then there's like a random ass ladder you can take that goes down and then takes you to that area you're talking about with the flooded stuff, and you have to jump across the rooftops. I don't know how to get there a different way.
Are you serious?
I didn't know there was a different way to get there.
Yeah. I got there a completely different way, and I had totally forgotten. So I went through the main entrance and killed the golden hippo, and I was like, oh fuck, dude, like Shadow Tree blessings that I'm missing out on. You know what I mean? Like, and then I did
There's
that
like
little
20 Shadow Tree shit in Shadowkeep. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat area. That, and then like there's like that little hidden section where you in Shadowkeep you like go down that ladder and then you get in that coffin and it sends you over the edge of the waterfall and you go down below it.
Yeah.
I love it when they do shit like that.
Yeah.
That and the entrance to the Abyssal Wood being the end of another dungeon.
Yeah.
I was like, and that dungeon is pretty brutal too, with the big.
Yeah.
Is that the giant guy with the huge cannon? Holy shit!
I can't remember now. I do remember thinking though, like, because I was looking for something specific in that dungeon, and I couldn't find it, and then I got to the boss and beat him, and he didn't give it to me, and I almost just fucking stopped there, and I'm like, all right, well, I need to go find the armor set. Like, I don't give a fuck about this guy. But then I noticed it kept going, and I almost didn't notice, which is funny. I could have easily missed the area for a while.
Yeah. And I ended up it was funny, I loaded in, like I rested at the bonfire to go kill Gaius, and I remember being like, I did not notice this statue here before. You know, like the one that's off to the side, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I remembered that fucking thing that I got earlier at in Bonnie Village, the little prayer thing or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, let's check this bad boy out. It just all these little secrets. It feels like they did a really good job with that stuff. Same thing with the Finger Ruins quest.
Yeah.
Where you go under the church. That shit was really cool.
Oh yeah, everything with Ymir is awesome. Everything that has to do with Ymir is really cool. I'm glad that they added all that stuff. I think that the lore implications of his whole quest line is probably more important than anything else in that entire DLC. But like everyone talks about Mikola. But like I feel like not a lot of people are talking about how fucking confusing everything is now that we know for a fact that all of the information has been from an unreliable narrator this whole time. Everything that Marika's been doing has literally been from people who are not even talking to the greater will. So
they pulled this trick before in Dark Souls 1 with the two serpents, Koth and oh fuck, who's the main
I don't remember. It's been so fucking long. I should probably replay that actually.
Which game?
Dark Souls 1.
Souls 1.
Oh yeah, I can't remember either.
It's oh my god, Frompt. I had to look it up. Koth and Frompt, those two serpents. That was kind of what they were pulling there too. Was like, you're following Frompt the whole time, and he's telling you, it's just simple. You're gonna be the big man on campus if you ring these bells, and then go and whatever. And then you get down into the abyss area, and Koth is like, yeah, he's fucking with you, man. This is all bullshit. Like you're gonna feed yourself to the fire, dude. Why would you feed yourself to the fire? Like shit like that. Like it feels like they're doing that. Like it's except you're figuring this out in the after effects of it, right? Which is like, okay, America and all these people were following the advice of these fingers that actually really didn't know anything. I mean, they were just kind of like, I don't know, maybe do this. I mean, it should work. Yeah, I agree. I think it's funny too, because for such an impactful quest chain, it's completely optional.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's always kind of the cool stuff in these games is what is required and what's optional. But
I would have never known that it was a thing. I forget what I looked up, but it was basically just like what I wanted out of it. The online, someone was basically like, "Go talk to Ymir," and I was like, "I don't know who the fuck Ymir is, but okay." And then I just happened to stumble into the quest line, which was awesome. Like by the end of it, I was like, "Holy fuck, this is fucking insane."
it's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I didn't want it to be over. Once I went under the chair and like was fighting the big boss, I was like, "Oh, damn. I bet I'm at the end of this now, aren't I?" And I mean, I think you do fight him after that, so it's not technically the end, but I remember thinking like, "Oh, I could fucking go find things for this guy all day. Like, you know, give me a few more fucking quests, buddy."
Yeah, I liked him. I thought it was very strange like what ends up happening. I wasn't sure if there was a way for him to not become hostile. It kind of confused me, but like you go down.
I'm not sure either.
I went downstairs.
I'm interested to look up.
I went downstairs, and then I went back up the ladder to let the lady know. I was like, "Hey, I was just in there, and somebody attacked me." And she goes, "Oh, thank you for letting me know." And then I kept trying to talk to her, and nothing happened. So I was like, "All right." So I like went down the ladder again, fought the finger boss, which was fine, not too hard.
Yeah.
Didn't really take me much. And then when I came back out again, she was pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, "Why are you mad?"
Killed the finger.
Yeah. And I think I had to kill her. And then when I killed her, he came out. Or maybe it's reverse. But is it that order?
You're right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty
and I was
sure,
like, what the fuck is this like a WWE like match or something? Like you kill a guy and then somebody's like, "I bet you didn't think I was gonna be here too, brother," you know, or whatever. But he like came out of nowhere and was just like, "I'm pissed for some reason as well." And I was like, "I don't understand, but okay, I'll kill you in 2 hits." Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Actually, his fight was, I wouldn't say it was challenging, but like he was really good at running away from me. Like he did not want to get hit. He was like, "I'm out of here."
He delayed the inevitable very well.
He did. Agree. Same with those guys actually in the dungeon that leads you to the Abyssal Forest, where they like, it's like is it just like a wizard who keeps teleporting away and he has like those big light spells? I think he summons ads as well. Yeah.
I never fought him. I didn't even know you could fight him. I wouldn't want to fight him.
Ymir? You didn't fight Ymir?
No, I didn't know you could. I went and I fought the fingers bitch. Came back out. Nobody was there. So I was like, "Okay, I guess this is it." And then I left. And that was it.
Wow. This fucking guy.
So I don't know what is the difference between what I did and what y'all did, but nothing.
What? Yeah. He never showed up again?
Nope.
Did you even try to make him show up again?
I didn't know I was supposed to make him show up again.
Oh,
I was literally just like, "Oh, he's not here," so I guess that's it.
I think I interacted with the throne again, is what happens. And then he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, or something. Why are you
touching my throne?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Alan from Smiling Friends. America has been misled all along. Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't know, so I never went back.
That's so interesting. Yeah, he comes into the throne room. He's like you're like touching his throat. You're like, "Hey man, next time maybe you should knock or make yourself known when you're coming in somewhere." I don't even think you're supposed to be in here. Yeah. Yeah. No. Cool. What?
I was thinking that's like more like the interaction whenever you go down underneath the throne and then you find Joan. The invader. She's trying to cover up Metter. Like
yeah.
Hey, what? I don't know, man. Try over there. Uh, good game.
Yeah, I think like I said though, I think weirdly enough for how easy she was, I think Romina was probably my favorite.
It's a good fight. I would go Midra and Mesmer are kind of tied for me. I don't like Radon. I mean, it's fine.
I honestly think that his phase 2 is garbage. I think it's absolute fucking ass. It's a light show. You can hardly fucking see anything whenever he's doing his moves. So like half the time you're literally just like, all right, I guess I'll just fucking randomly hit dodge and guess because I can't fucking see anything.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
garbage. It's like actual ass.
maybe there's a world in which I get good enough at recognizing the patterns that I could dodge through it, but yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't enjoying it, that's for sure. Phase 1 does get fun as you kind of begin to recognize some of the attacks, but even then still the punishment is severe for fucking up once or twice. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll give him another shot or two at some point, but
I think it's an epic final boss. I'm very pleased with it.
yeah. It's no
I think
Gwyn.
the first phase is fine.
Yeah. Yeah. The first phase is not bad. It's doable. If that was the whole fight, it would be just challenging enough, but satisfying. Like, to me. Or if it ended up being like this fight reminds me of the Dark Souls 3 fight, the twin princes or whatever, where there's like the dude on the back and that has a 2-phase kind of thing, right? Where it's like the first part is more like physical attacks and the next part he's like flying around or some shit from what I remember. Has a lot more magic, but I feel like that was a much more successful version of this same idea to me, in my opinion.
That's interesting because I agree, but they're not that different for me, I guess, other than this is notably more difficult, but it's kind of like what we were talking about last recording where boss complexity is constantly getting ramped up in these games, and I would expect the final boss of their most recent release to be a harder, more complex version of something they've done before, and it is, I would say, that boss that we're talking about. So
it's
it's kind of what I expect. I feel like they met my expectations well. Like I'm satisfied.
I think it's tough because it's a balancing act, right? It's like, okay, like we talked about, complexity or intense punishment.
Yeah.
But when you start, it's a dial, right? It's and
where they really nailed it is like Slave Knight Gale. That is like the perfect fucking okay, he's like a normal big humanoid boss, and then he has like a second phase where he kind of ramps up, and then he has like a final phase for the last third of his health bar where he's just going all out and fucking like flying all around you, doing all these fucking crazy magical attacks. But it's a lot easier to read what he's doing because it's not just like beams of light. It's like very specific animations that are kind of more clear. And even though it is a constant barrage of attacks, you're able to identify like, okay, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, and you can play your cards better. Whereas Radon, I kind of agree with what Merced said. It's just like visual noise, basically. It's like they could have done it better, I guess.
But for the only thing that's like a little bit disappointing to me is it's like, obviously I'm not using this same criticism for like Mesmer, right? When Mesmer literally throws ash in your face and lights it on fire. And then for another one of his moves, he just like pokes the shit out of you with a giant flame stick right in your face.
Or turns into a snake and flies around the fucking screen in a way that is difficult to read, but eventually you get used to it, right?
Yeah, and it's because like for some odd reason, at least whenever it comes to the former stuff with like all of the flame shit that's happening, the only time that the flame shit is happening on screen is it's almost like giving you like a beat to follow. So like once you're like listening to the beat almost like visually, then you're like, oh, dodge, 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 and then that's how you like learn it doing that. Whereas like It doesn't feel like there's any rhythm or rhyme or reason whenever Radon is just blowing the screen up with massive amounts of fucking light constantly.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I can't use that as a visual cue for my gameplay anymore. So, like, I guess all I can really do is remember what he was doing in the first phase and kind of go off of that. And, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just. In that way, the visuals just start to be more annoying than like a part of the spectacle. Like with Mesmer, it's a spectacle because you're interacting with it. But like with Radon, it just becomes annoying.
It is just a balancing act. It's like you've got the two dials of complexity and punishment, and if you just are like, to me, and I mean, this is, you know, everybody has the Souls bosses that they like and don't like, and not everyone agrees on everything, right? Like remember Rom the Vacuous Spider? That shit was so funny because depending on who you were, it was either the hardest fucking boss fight in the entire world or nothing. And I was
stuck on that boss for a surprising amount of time, considering I can like one try it now. It is wild how I like struggled with that for some reason.
It was a one try for me when I fought him. And then I remember hearing from other people that it was like something that took them a lot of time, and I was like, really?
Multiple sessions. Like I genuinely stuck on it.
But like for me, like I never dialed in Gascoigne. Like that was something that, like, you know, I hit him and had a difficult time, where some people didn't, right, on my first playthrough. So I mean, it was, you know, it's always like this with everyone. And then you got to factor in build changes things. Your play style changes things. What you prefer in a boss changes things. But to me, General Radon's first phase is the dials are relatively in sync. They're like it's pretty punishing. There's not a lot of opportunities to heal, but you do kind of learn them as you fight, right? When you get in there. And then the level of complexity that he exhibits in his first phase, the number of modifiers he can do on any combo is crazy. Like he does have quite a lot of little tweaks he can do to even just individual sword swings, the number of swings, the delay on the swings.
Like attack 1 can lead to ABC.
Exactly.
And so on. Yeah, that's something
in
really
his case,
the whole DLC. It's like impressive how many different options the bosses can have mid combo, basically.
For sure. Well, and that's what I mean is like in his case, it's like, you're right. It's if it's Mesmer, it's A, B, C, D. If it's Radon, it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know what I mean? Like there's just this many more little things that he could tweak. So it ends up being a pretty satisfying first phase, but it's still kind of a long one. Like it does take a bit of time to get into his second phase. And that's the thing that makes the second phase so annoying is it takes you so long to get through the first phase, to get into the second phase, even on a good run, by the way, like depending on how much damage you're doing. I mean, I've seen some things online of people doing like half his health bar in one hit if you have the right damage type or you do the right buffs or whatever. But for a regular build, you're doing, you know, a reasonable amount of damage. It still takes a while because you don't get that many chances to hit them. So getting into the second phase and just being like insta-killed by a bomb kind of sucks.
No, for sure. And the way deflating. I played that fight was the slow and steady way. So I mean, those battles for me were taking a long time. I was playing it like very safe. And it's like if I even have like a really good first phase where I have a lot of my potions left and I can be a little more risky or whatever. Yeah. But then he just does one thing that I'm not expecting, and that's the whole run. You know, it's not like, oh, now I have to heal. It's like, oh no, I just died. And now I have to do that all again. And it's like exhausting. But ultimately, it wasn't that bad. I think, you know, I don't know. I think my biggest criticism would be that like the second phase is kind of hard to know what to do. And you're kind of just like hoping you get lucky with whatever input you pick. But
take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Take a lot of damage. Really, really good game. Super satisfying to be able to return to Elden Ring a couple of years after release and feel enveloped in its warm embrace once again. You know, like getting into it, the experience of loading into Shadow of the Erdtree and just feeling that same feeling of having no idea what the fuck's going on Again, just really special. From Software, there's really no one doing it like them. I was watching one of our friends play Lies of P, and that's a fucking great game. Really great game. Still really like it. But you are watching that, and there is an ingredient missing.
Yeah.
Compared to a From
sauce.
like a From Software has got the sauce.
They have the sauce. I don't know what the sauce is.
It's a
I
secret
don't know where
sauce.
they acquired the sauce.
And it's not even like
They-
it's not even like the Big Mac secret sauce where everyone kind of knows what it is, you know, so you'll go other places and they have an approximation of it. Like there is an ingredient that only From Software knows in their sauce for sure.
For sure. And I mean, Lies of P is still a phenomenal game.
Amazing
Lies
game.
of P is a great fucking game. But like it's just one of those things where it's like if you're not playing a FromSoft game, like you know you're not playing a FromSoft game.
Yeah, you feel
I don't
it.
know how. Yeah, it's something about the animations, it's the visual style, like they're so insanely unique in the way the game feels
And
and
it's-
the way the game looks.
It's so funny too because you're just like the story in Lies of P is good. The lore in Lies of P is good. The fucking vibes in Lies of P are good. The areas are good. There's good shortcuts. There's good dungeon design. There's good. All of it is good. In the same. It's like they went down every checkbox and were like, we need this. We need this from a FromSoft game. We need this from a FromSoft game. But there's still something missing. It's insane. I mean, you know, it's like it doesn't have quite the level of complexity in the level design. It doesn't have quite the lore that's as good as a FromSoft game. It doesn't have quite the writing, the character writing and stuff that's as good as a FromSoft game. You know, all these little things, even from the beginning. Like if you go play Demon's Souls, you feel the From Software sauce, even though it was their first. I mean, whatever. I guess if you count King's Field and all that shit, they'd been doing this for a while. But I mean, really though, this was their first rodeo in this exact kind of game design.
Yeah,
And-
you're always gonna have those people that are like, oh, what about Kingsfield? Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about Kingsfield.
I'm not playing Kingsfield. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
I think to Lies of P's credit, I think that they truly did not attempt to even do the lore or the level design as well as FromSoft does it. I think that they were straight up like they understood, you know, like this is not my lane, this is not what I'm trying to do. And they went like almost like fully just on the gameplay level. And of course, like the aesthetics too. But even then, because a lot of people tend to look at Lies of P and they're like, oh, so it's like Pinocchio and Bloodborne. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, but bro, like it's
Pretty
missing visually something. It's missing something like that just FromSoft nails absolutely whenever it comes to their visual design.
Yeah, there is. I mean, you're right. I don't like that was my immediate detraction of Lies of P when I booted it up. I was like, janky off-brand FromSoft game. You know what I mean? But then you realize that they knew the things mechanically that they wanted to take and kind of the general structure of the game that they wanted to take from a FromSoft game. But they really did just do whatever their own strengths were in their own direction. It just happens to fit in a formula that resembles, you know, a FromSoft game. And I think they did a really good job with it. But yeah, playing Shadow of the Erdtree, you feel it in full effect again. You're like, yes, the master's at work, you know? It's like sitting down for a Paul Thomas Anderson film or something. Like you're just like, all right, yeah, here we are once again, you know.
True.
But yeah,
We just rewatched There Will Be Blood recently, actually.
hell yeah, dude, nice.
That's so fucking good.
classic. Jennifer and I do the milkshake line all the time.
Yeah, that shit's still good to this day, obviously.
Yeah, Jennifer.
Yeah,
I think Jennifer's favorite actor is Paul Dano, and has been since I've known her, like forever. Like it's been that way since I met her, and
That's
it's so
not a bad one
funny.
to pick, I guess.
No, it's so funny
Great
because like
choice.
when There Will Be Blood came out, no one knew who the fuck Paul Dano was. Like he had been, I think he had been in Little Miss Sunshine. Is that right? Like that was
I think so, yeah.
And but other than that, it was like okay, and yeah, but he just absolutely crushes it so hard in that movie. So, yeah, Yeah.
God works in mysterious ways, Daniel.
Yeah.
he's great.
My boy. I say that all the time whenever my cat's doing something. My
Say
boy.
it louder.
Yeah. Um.
And my boy.
What else? So let's. I suppose we're done. I think probably with Shadow of the Erdtree talk. It feels like we exhausted it last week. I mean, there's always little things you can dig into, but in general, I think I've moved on mentally from being obsessed with it at this point. Which it was a good couple weeks, that's for sure. That I really felt like I couldn't think about anything else. But what else have you guys been running through? Any other games you've been playing?
I don't know if you saw the creators of the famous gacha game Genshin Impact created Zenless Zone Zero. So
I want to kick you out of this call so bad, but
I also have been playing Zenless Zone Zero.
it's actually pretty good.
My God, I know the wrong people in life. Okay, tell me about Zenless Zone Zero. I'm typing it into Google right now.
It's
I think you should try it out.
It's like tag team hack and slash. It's actually pretty good. If you like older style hack and slash games, like I compare it more closely to a dumbed down version of like God of War, Devil May Cry, like just shit like that. The original God of War is not the new ones for all you Zoomers out there. But yeah, it's just like fun hack and slash. They add in like mechanics for like more reactive and interactive gameplay. So like whenever the enemy's about to hit you, you can tag out for someone to come in for like a special move. They've got special move meters, so once your meter fills up, then you get to use your big old special move. And it's honestly like pretty simple in its gameplay overall, but it's just very satisfying, and it looks very good visually.
Good. Yeah, it feels and looks good. The characters are pretty cool. There's a bear character, huge plus. Yeah, I don't know. It's something about just the like swapping, honestly, is like kind of what's like solidified that I was gonna have a good time. But yeah, the like character swapping for like combo finishers to keep a combo going, or to like swap when you're about to get hit as like almost like a parry. It's just so good, and it feels so good, and the game has a lot of style. When I say this, I don't mean that it is similar to Persona, but it almost reminds me of Persona just in how style, how much style it has. Like when you finish a fight, the just like fight finish screen that happens and like goes like black and white and does like a fucking little scene. I don't know. It just like, it feels good to play the game. Like at all times, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm pogging out right now. And for me, I'm just gonna play it like in between things. I'm not like scratching my neck to like fucking jump back in, but whenever I'm not really sure what I'm gonna want to do, but I just want to do something, I'm definitely gonna be picking that up more and just like hopping in, clearing a few missions, hopefully get another character or whatever. But yeah, it's surprisingly fun.
Yeah, I think I mean, outside of let's get this out of the way up front. I mean, it became pretty clear that Genshin Impact was like, we're going to make a shitload of money off of two groups of people. One, people who absolutely need to have a waifu. And two, that's why they have a huge roster of characters. Two, so you can get a new waifu and they can milk more money out of you every so often. And two, the second one is people who just can pick a game to just play mechanically over and over again. And it felt like Genshin Impact was almost like a Breath of the Wild gacha thing, where they were just like, let's just have a big world that you roam around that's really pretty, and then you get into a dungeon and there's like a couple of mechanics or traversal things you need to do, and then you get out and maybe there's some combat in the overworld, whatever. But and it feels like they just keep doing this with different genres.
Yeah, and see that I'm really interested, and I'll touch base the next time we record to see if I hit the point in this game that I did with Genshin Impact, because I really got into Genshin Impact. Just like no money spent. I genuinely just had fun playing that game, and the characters available to me I enjoyed playing, but like, yeah, I mean, I really got lost in that map and was like addicted to just exploring and taking it all in and finding these really cool, unique puzzles they had designed, which there were. I don't know. It was a very well made game. I was very pleasantly surprised by Genshin Impact. And this one, I like the combat enough to where the same thing could happen. I just don't know that this game is trying to deliver what Genshin did, like a big open exploration type vibe. I don't really. This seems a lot more like, okay, here's my mission, do the thing, do the combat encounter, move on. And if that's all it is, I probably will get pretty bored pretty quickly. But if there is some other like layer to it that is really fun to engage with outside of the combat, once I get like through the tutorial-y part of it, I could see me playing it a lot. But
Well, while you guys were talking about it, I did pull up a trailer, and yeah, the combat does look pretty fun. I feel like I need a little bit more to pull me through story-wise and some other stuff. So, is there anything narrative that's hooking you, or not really?
I mean, I personally like the story, but it's not going to be anything that's like crazy, like nothing to write home about. There is like there's like the whole Persona-esque vibe of it, where in between missions you can go out into the hub world, go to stores, go talk to the NPCs, things like that. But overall, it's not going to be anything that's like super innovative or crazy.
yeah, yeah, I kind of echoed that. It's not like breaking the mold with the writing, but the cutscenes and stuff are enjoyable.
It's
I'm
really
not like,
high quality.
yeah, I'm not like, oh my god, another cutscene. I'm like, oh okay, yeah, let's see let's see what's about to happen.
At the end of the day, my opinion of this game is that it is an incredibly high quality time waster. So
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. This is
Yeah. Very that's my problem, is I have such little time to waste that
yeah.
I could just be
I don't
spinning
know
it
if you're
playing a real game.
not this type of person, but I just definitely have times in my day where I don't necessarily want to do any of the things I want to do. Like if I wanted to sit down and play Elden Ring and like grind out this new playthrough I'm on, that's like a thing I want to do, you know what I mean? But like, let's say at the end of the day, I'm too tired to fucking do that. Like you have to turn your brain on for Elden Ring, right?
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
I just want to do something, but I don't want to do any of the things that I normally like to fill my time with. It's just like, I want to do something. Like your junk food video game, basically. Like that's what this will be for me. It's just like, yeah, I just want to fucking eat shit food and enjoy eating it. And that's it. And you know, we all have shows, movies, games like that, I think, and this is just definitely going to be one of those for me.
Yeah. It does look really nice. They did a good job with the art style and the visual, like the effects, especially like particle effects and all the spell looking stuff.
Yeah.
I'm watching a video of some guy with two guns. And
he's so fun.
He looks cool.
I love that guy. I don't know if you like him or said, but I love that guy.
yeah, he's fun. He's really fun.
But okay, all right.
They're all really. I would say there was only like a couple of characters out of the like 11 or 12 that we get to sample. There's maybe only like a couple that I was like, "There's no fucking shot in hell I'm ever getting this character."
Is there multiplayer or no?
Good
Genshin
question.
Impact had it. Honkai Star Rail didn't, so I don't know.
Huh. Okay.
It might just be a single player type thing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I truly don't know. I didn't even think about that.
I'll be honest. The chance of me ever playing this is so slim, but it looks decent.
Yeah,
So.
I mean it's for niche of people.
Yeah.
But I mean if you
A
enjoy
niche of people that happens to be everyone but me, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a huge group of people that will never ever play a what the fuck is the company
Gotcha.
called? Mohio?
MiHoYo, yeah.
MiHoYo.
Yeah.
MiHoYo,
Yeah.
or whatever.
I feel like they're just
thing.
never. I feel like there's a pretty large group of people that will literally never ever play any of their games simply because it is gotcha. That is what it is. So yeah, it's really for people who are totally okay with that. I'm okay with it. I've never had a gambling addiction and I don't have a gambling problem. So like once I've run out of the free stuff, then I just stop playing. I've done that.
We just have substance abuse problems, which are the cool kind.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with Merced. I'm always down to like try these types of games, and then I'll just milk the like whatever they're willing to give me, and if that will carry my entertainment value, whatever distance, I'll fucking ride that wave. But as soon as like whatever they're giving me isn't satisfying me anymore, I'm just like, you're
Yeah.
not even.
Then
No.
it's just like I got what, like probably like 20, 30 hours out of this
Right.
thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm good. I didn't spend a single thing.
Yeah.
So
What?
yeah,
Go on.
I was thinking we also played Diablo 4.
Tell me about your
weird.
return to Diablo Quattro.
I mean, it was pretty good. For like anyone who is still on the fence about like jumping back in, you should just. I would say go for it because it's in a spot now where they've essentially made it to where it's incredibly easy to level up. Your build is going to be online. Like you will literally be at level 70-ish, 60 to 70-ish. You'll be there within probably like 6-7 hours of game time, which is extremely fucking fast. And your build's going to be online, and you'll be having fun and ready to do the Greater Rift content that quickly. So
pitch it to me, somebody who is not on the fence at all and is in fact on the wrong side of the fence, most likely. What is it different enough, or does it feel better enough to somebody who thought the base game was fine but doesn't really need to do more of that again?
I think that's all it is. It's just there if you want more of it, right? Like, I only stopped playing Diablo because I got burnt out, not because like the new season sucked. Back when I stopped playing, I just like I was done with the game, and if I ever feel like playing it again, I'll just fucking start.
Well,
playing
there was a
season's
very
going.
vocal group of people who
but that's what I'm trying to make clear is that was not me. I just was tired of playing the game at that point. The season had nothing to do with that. That was just bad timing. But like for me, I just I got my fill, and if I ever want to jump back in, I will. Like, and it's good to know that it's in a good place. I've heard that a lot. Seems like a lot more people are playing it again, but I just have no interest in going back, me personally, and it sounds like you're kind of in the same place.
Yeah.
I think it was a good game, though. Like, Diablo 4 was fucking great. It still is.
It was good. C out of, whatever. It's a C. It passed. It passed for me. It wasn't like I was like, holy fuck, this is amazing. I think honestly the story did keep me interested, which was more than I could say about Diablo 3, for sure. But it pulled the same thing that Diablo 3 pulled, which I think all these games are going to pull because they can't ever have a definitive ending, because then why would you go back and play more? You know what I mean? But it pulled the same trick, which is, now find out what happens on the next episode of Diablo 4, and you're like, okay, all right, well, then fuck y'all.
Yeah, I think that they added more build variety and stuff, just like extra things to do. They made a lot of your abilities more impactful with the extra uniques. They made uniques a lot easier to get. So, which are essentially the main things that are going to cause your build to like get to that next level like incredibly quickly, and it changes the level of satisfaction for the average player. I think the best way to put it is, if you thought that it was a C before, you probably might actually think it's like a B+ to an A now. That's how much the gameplay is actually improved.
Okay,
just in terms of satisfaction.
Now I'm actually hovering.
That's probably the best someone's described the place that the game's in right now, honestly.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I
don't know if I'd feel that way. To me, it's just more Diablo.
But I mean,
having a good time with my build before.
Hearing you say that, I mean, I am now interested. That's for sure.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Your builds are just going to be more impactful than they were before. It's just flat out. You'll get stronger faster, and you'll be doing more with the same exact amount of time investment.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's like like well over half of the satisfaction in the game is how powerful you feel with your character, and they just kind of like amped that up.
Yeah.
So,
what else you guys been cooking through? Crossley, you got anything?
No, other than what we've talked about, I've mostly been doing card related stuff.
Okay.
Getting back into my Magic stuff now that I'm done with Vacation and Elden Ring.
I downloaded and played. I downloaded and played the first level of Armored Core 6, which I had never done. That was pretty fun. I think I will keep trucking through that. I also reinstalled Sekiro to decide once and for all if it truly deserves to be even considered a Souls game or not.
Oh yeah, you're done with Elden Ring now. Well, yeah, you need to beat Armored Core and then play Sekiro. Because Sekiro is going to be like one of those games where you're going to have to. It's not going to be like a relaxing game to play. So,
yeah, no. I am gonna
play Armored Core first.
I'm gonna get through Armored Core, and then I'm gonna do Sekiro, and I'm gonna make Merced watch me.
Fuck yeah!
And that way he gets to defend it in real time when I complain about how fucking terrible it is.
For sure.
I played through a game that nobody believes is real.
Yeah.
You're talking about 1,000 X resist.
I played 1,000. Yeah. It's 1,000 times resist is per the developer. Per the developer, that's what it is.
Always got XXX Tentation's name wrong too.
Is that? Oh, it's Tentacion. Is that what it's supposed to be?
I have no clue. I still, to this day, I mean, he's dead, so I guess it doesn't really matter anymore. I don't think he would mind.
Okay. This is a game that appeals very much to a specific type of person. The best way that I can describe this is it's very much story first. There is gameplay, and it does need to be a game because it's not just like a walking simulator where you kind of just meander around from place to place and it gives you story. The amount of story it gives you depends entirely on how you play the game. So they want you to talk to as many people as you want to talk to. And it gives you a deeper understanding and a deeper appreciation and fleshes out what ends up happening by the end of that game a lot. I bought this game because I had seen some reviews of it that were really positive, but that ended up only kind of making me go, okay, this game exists and looks interesting. What made me actually get it was the developer of Signalis on Twitter posted, finally found some time to finish 1,000 times resist. If you like Signalis, I'm begging you to give this a try. And I was like, I fucking love Signalis, so I am going to give it a try. And I bought it. It was in the Steam sale. It was like $17 or something. It ended up being about a 10-hour, I think it was slightly less for me, like 8.9 hour game. I'm just gonna say some things here, and you can tell me if this is leading you in the right direction or not. If you like Evangelion, you will like this game, provided that you don't need gameplay. Because it really is just walking around, choosing dialogue options, and a bit of horror and a bit of like figuring out what you need to do next to progress.
Yeah, I mean, I played what was it, Immortality? That's basically kind of similar to what you're describing. It's barely a video game.
You're gonna have to remind me what Immortality. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah. You're right.
It's kind of like
you're kind of in the right vein. Yeah. I mean, I would say Immortality, obviously, I mean, Sam Barlow, who is the creator of the studio that makes Immortality and all those other I forget what the name of the studio is, but he's done a bunch of those. Obviously, Sam Barlow has enough cachet to where Immortality has a very high budget, very refined. This is this studio's first game. It's pretty rough, especially at the start. You're like, what is this? And what's happening? The graphics,
what have I done?
The art style is weird in a very intentional way, but it looks like it's like if somebody stylized Second Life. Like it is a weird looking game. It feels like they really hacked it together to make this thing work. It's hard to tell how much of that is intentional in order to tell the story and how much of it is just budget limitations and, you know, creative and capability limitations. But the writing punches so hard and in a weight class so much above most other games that you have to imagine that if the studio gets to keep making games or wants to keep making games, they will eventually do something on the level of an Immortality or of, you know, of a Signalis or something like that. Like there is a lot to unpack. One of the most densely woven stories. Like you will spend days after you're done just thinking about it. The elevator pitch is it's a science fiction game set in the far-flung future, in what is essentially some kind of base that is safe from a virus that was brought when aliens came to Earth and wiped out most of the planet. And you play a particular clone that they call each other sisters. Everyone, females only, by the way. And you all refer to each other as sisters. And there is a hierarchy system where some sisters at a certain point get promoted to one of the 6, which are people who have very important jobs in this universe. One is called Healer. One is called Knower. Like Knower keeps the archive going of knowledge and stuff like that, and tells people about the past. Healer is obviously the hospital. You know what I mean? Like and you become one of the 6, and your job is Watcher. You observe and learn and kind of make deductions about what people are doing and what the society is and what people's mental state are and all this stuff. And so it functions perfectly in the gameplay in the sense that you are spending a lot of time observing other people or listening to conversations or talking to them or you know doing stuff. And yeah, man, I can't even begin to tell you just how out of control it spirals almost immediately. I mean, the first thing that happens, the whole first 2 chapters, you're like, I fucking have no idea what's going on. And even once you begin to understand a bit about the world and what's going on, the way that they tell it out of order, either you reliving, you know, characters' memories, recent memories, or thousands of years in the past, or hundreds of years in the past, its goal is to highlight just how trauma and the way people perceive problems or the way people think about society is passed down from generation to generation, but more how that then influences what people see as fighting the system, right? It's all rebellion all the time, which is why the title is 1000 Times Resist. Because it is just a story of different rebellions over the course of thousands of years, and has a very interesting thought about how it affects not just society or you, but your children and your children's children, about the choices that you make if you are going to be complicit in maybe a flawed government system, or if you're going to choose to fight back against a system, how that affects your friends and your loved ones and people that you care about, even in ways that you could never possibly foresee.
It's interesting. I hate to derail you at all, but it reminds me of a conversation I had with Cole once where he was basically just blatantly admitting to me, because I was kind of calling him out on something, I don't remember what, but he was basically telling me they didn't give a fuck about the future in any regard, like, and all his actions are going to be selfish regardless of like the kind of future society will have, or the way it would impact his kids if he ever has any and stuff like that. He's like, I don't care because I'll be dead then. Whatever ramifications exist far down the line because of how I live my life doesn't matter to me because I'll be dead. And I'm like, holy fuck, I think the total opposite. Like, I think we're all selfish to a degree and care about ourselves like first, but I absolutely get anxious about like the trickle down effects of like actions we as a society make today and how that will radiate out to my kids and or future, kids. Like, I think about that shit a lot. Like maybe I'm just fucking crazy, but
no,
I don't know. Yeah, he really shocked me with that one.
I mean, I think everybody thinks about this stuff, but if you are interested at all in I would say this game it's Evangelion is an inspiration for sure, because a lot of weird shit happens and a lot of it is absurd in a way that will make you laugh. You will, but then there's a very grounded story about interpersonal relationships that will work for you or it won't. It worked for me. It took some time to get there, but it ended up working for me by the end. So it strengthens the impact of the end of Evangelion type shit for sure.
Right.
And then there is kind of a grander philosophical narrative about the structures of power and how they interact. And then even more, what defines the type of power that an individual exerts upon others once they're given the ability to do so, and how their past might affect that. All the way down from just how your mom, because she has power over you, how she exerts that and what causes her to be that way, right? But even more, how that affects the children, and then how that affects like a person having power in a government sense, in a leadership sense, even just interpersonal power dynamics between people who are ostensibly the same rank, right? It's dense. I'm not going to say that it's the most fun game I've ever played, but I basically started out playing a chapter. I played like the first 2 chapters in the first sitting. I was like, all right. I mean, there's some things I don't like about it, but there's some things that are interesting. And then I was playing like a chapter a night for the last week or so. There's 10 chapters. Yeah. By the last few nights, I was playing like 2 or 3 chapters, and each one was ending in a way that I was like, I fucking gotta see what the fuck is going on. Like it is really just that. And, I think, we go through this every year with me where there's an indie game that impacts me in some way, and I end up gushing over it. Disco Elysium, Signalis, Outer Wilds. This feels like it's in that weight class, but I just wish there was more meat on the game part of it, because I think the ways in which it tries to be a game get in the way of the strength of the narrative sometimes.
Do you think that's a similar issue in that one like Skyrim mod that became its own game? Or is that like better at being a video game?
You're talking about the Forgotten City?
Yeah.
This is to me, that game was really good, really great story, really great writing. That game definitely had different ambitions than this for sure, but I get what you're saying. To me, this game bothers with gameplay even less than that. Like that game I think that game was really like, I mean, we're going to try to put some gameplay in here and it might be frustrating occasionally. There's like a combat section in that,
Oh, really?
Yeah, for sure. In this,
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, there is. In this, they're just like, fuck it, man. I mean, there's gonna be a horror section. There's gonna be some sections where you have to kind of meander through an environment that are not really satisfying. But the way they add to the vibes overall, it doesn't detract from the experience enough for me to say that it's not worth it. But I do kind of think that, like, the brilliance of something like Immortality is it's literally just you're watching some video clips and piecing some things together, right? Or like Her Story. Like, it would almost make more sense for this game to be in that kind of format.
Gotcha.
They could have even done it like the way this story is structured. They could have done it like you're nowhere and you're going through the archives. You know what I mean? Like they could have done shit like that if they wanted to. But they chose a very specific path. And without giving away too much, you do change player characters a few times throughout the story, and the ways in which they do that and justify that makes a lot of the annoying gameplay shit you went through contextualized in a way that makes sense and becomes more and more impactful.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool. I really wish somebody that I knew would play it so I could have a conversation, because
Yeah, you've definitely piqued my interest. Remind me about it because I'll forget, and I'll try to remember to chip away at that.
I think it's really worth it. Just experiencing it or watching a playthrough maybe, because there are different endings, but I don't know. It obfuscates exactly what matters in how things play out. I really, to be honest with you, I think it's a Mass Effect 3 situation where basically everything that you choose in the last chapter is really what determines what the final ending is, I think. But or the last few chapters, but there are a lot of choices that you can make throughout that do seem to change how people react
flavor
to you.
To everything.
Exactly. So, yeah, fucking cool game. 1000 Times Resist. Highly recommend it. There's a few other games that are coming out here that I think interest me in similar ways. Like that Flintlock game I know comes out in a couple weeks. That game seems like I don't mean similar ways like 1000 Times Resist, but I mean like it could end up being the quote unquote, indie game that captures my love this year. But so far 1000 Times Resist is the front runner for me in terms of indie games that had an impact on me and I will continue to think about into game of the year time. So.
Oh yeah.
And maybe that's it. Maybe we'll end on one news topic that I read this week, which is that there was a news story out there that From Software is hiring for Armored Core 6 DLC.
Oh shit! I mean, I'd be down.
Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't. I didn't see anything about it. I don't know exactly where else they would go with it, but hey, I'm down for that. Maybe like I guess you can't really do a prequel. I guess you could. Who knows? Well, I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
But like Armored Core 6 DLC seems a little odd. I guess they have just like a small amount of their main dev team working on it then. I figured they'd be like full force into the next Dark Souls by now, or whatever the hell they're going to call it.
Well, they have multiple projects always in development at this point, so I'm assuming they have main team on the next Souls-like. They have another project that's been in development in a while that I don't think we know anything about yet, and then the Sekiro team that developed Armored Core is probably working on the DLC for Armored Core.
Yeah, they're really smart about staggering out releases. They basically get a game out a year at this point. It might not be the game that you're looking for. Like, actually, let's see. 2020 was Elden Ring.
There wasn't anything in 2021 or 2022, right?
Sorry, 2022 was Elden Ring, excuse me, right?
Wait, was it? Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
2022 was Elden Ring. What was Sekiro, 2019?
That sounds correct.
And then the year after Elden Ring, we got 2019 was Sekiro. So 2 years in between Sekiro and Elden Ring. We got Armored Core 6 in 2023 in August, and then we just got in 2024 Shadow of the Erdtree. So I'm gonna say Armored Core 6 DLC next year. So 2025, and then 2026 for whatever the main A team is working on. And realistically, they're probably really doing 2 games and a DLC at the same time, would be my guess. So they've got Armored Core 6 next year, one of the 2 games the following year, and then maybe the other of the 2 games the year after that, or something like that. But yeah, it's hard to tell how their cycles work out, but they have been pretty smart about allocating resources in ways that ensures they've got a drip feed of stuff to talk about or get people excited on.
We're still getting that Liza B DLC too.
Are we really? I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
That's cool. What do you think? What's the next project? Okay, Armored Core 6
Sekiro
DLC.
2.
We know. You think so? You think Sekiro 2?
I think it's gonna be like a spiritual successor to Sekiro. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Do we get our sci-fi souls next?
Uh,
I want one day. I think it's probably inevitable that they'll branch into that sort of genre / vibe and setting. But I kind of agree with Merced. I think the next thing will be the upgraded version of Sekiro, like not a sequel per se, but clearly this is our next one of these games.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it'll be better, but we'll see.
They're gonna make
how I feel about like a sci-fi Dark Souls.
They're gonna make a first-person shooter.
Dude, I would be so down. What the fuck? Oh, dude, did you see Concord? Did you see the gameplay for Concord?
Is it good?
Good.
It looks like it looks like Destiny. That's what it looks like.
I'm pulling it up right now because I saw some people.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people playing it last night. If you pull up, so the gameplay itself looks like Destiny, with a higher emphasis on, of course, like a unique character, like hero, rather than class based.
But it's
gameplay.
It's multiplayer.
It is multiplayer, yeah. I'm saying the gameplay itself, like the moment to moment shooting and everything, looks a lot like Destiny.
I don't know how I feel about that, I guess. I also didn't think Destiny was the best multiplayer game, like non-cooperative, I mean, like PvP game.
I honestly think the PvP for Destiny was really, really good, and the main thing that stopped it from being good was that like your gear score and shit mattered. It's fucking retarded. I think if they can distill down like the base core gameplay of Destiny and bring it over into like this hero-esque shooter style gameplay, I think it has a chance to work really, really well. The only problem is releasing a first-person shooter in the environment that the games industry is in right now, where if you really want a shooter to succeed, having pay to play is not really the way to go. So, like you're talking about, I don't even know who the developers for Concord are, but you need.
Is it a paid game?
Yeah, that's what it said. Is if you pay for the game, then you get pre-release access, or not pre-release, the pre-open beta access. So,
gotcha.
But yeah, like, and if you're gonna like release an FPS and you want it to succeed, you need, not only do you need like name brand recognition, but you also need like developer recognition as well, just to get like the word of mouth out amongst like, you know,
I think
to the normies.
I think the whole thing behind this studio, this is the studio's first game together, like as Firewalk Studios. That's the name of the developer. But I think this had some kind of pedigree where like one of the founders or like a large portion of the staff was from a other studios that people liked, which is every studio these days. I mean, there's always somebody going, I worked on BioShock 1, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Back for Blood.
Yeah, I mean, Back for Blood was, they got everything in the broad strokes right. They just missed all the details. But what are you gonna do?
I wonder how that game would be if we just like went back to it and tried it again.
I'm down, honestly, totally down.
I like Back for Blood. I don't know.
You did not like it. You're lying.
I mean,
yeah, sure.
I mean, I would give it a shot. We could do that. I'm totally cool with that, frankly. But yeah, I'm watching this Concord gameplay. To me, it's hard to look like anything other than just Overwatch. But
really, I feel like I'm going fucking crazy, dude. That looks just like Destiny.
I mean, they literally have different characters, different abilities. It's a 5v5. I mean, I'm watching.
Yeah, I'm just talking about all I'm talking about is like the way the gun looks, the way the aim down sights is, the way like all that.
Sure,
kind of shit.
sure.
Like
that could be, yeah, that could be true.
Just like visually, it looks like Destiny.
Okay.
The gameplay, the like, you know, the hero shooter aspect of it and everything. I don't even know how they're going to be doing the matches. Like, I don't know if they're going to be doing it like push the cart, or if they're going to be doing mostly TDM, or
it seems like it's the same stuff as in the all these games. I mean, it's Team Fortress 2, whatever you want to use, Overwatch. It's like push the cart. There's King of the Hill. There's all this shit. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. I'd give it a shot. If they
you have to pay for it.
If they did an open beta, I would try it.
I think it is DOA, in my opinion.
It very well. I think that is the popular opinion right now.
Yeah, that was my assumption. It was just gonna not do well.
I think,
but there is an open beta though.
It's closed beta right now.
But it'll be open on the 18th.
Oh, really? 18th?
Yeah.
Where will I think I'll be home by then.
Yeah, I think it's going to be open on the 18th to like the 21st.
Okay. I'd give it a shot. I mean, I don't know, but the problem with these games and me is like, just like Overwatch. Overwatch started out really fun and really good, and then they always balance and they add new characters, and then it just becomes a different thing by the end than what you like. Or I guess in the case of Overwatch, it was really that they balanced it so well, finger quotes, that it became really hard to like make a difference on a team. Like, you really did need all 5 members of the team to be firing on all cylinders. You couldn't just have one guy carry a team ever. You know what I mean? It was literally like you're either all doing well or none of you are doing well, and that becomes very painful after a while. Especially if you don't have a group of 5 people that you know. You know what I mean? If it's 3 of you that you know and 2 randos, you're like, fucking kill me. These guys are dragging me down.
But I mean, if you're playing those games by yourself, you're resigning yourself to like the whims of the universe at that point.
I mean, it's not even just by yourself. It was like, if it's you have 3, but there's 2 randos, you have no idea what they're gonna do. You know, it was like Siege by the end.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, but
oh, dude, Siege, what a good fucking game, dude. When is my Siege 2? I can't believe that they actually like they made the statement where they're like, we're gonna ride this fucking game until there's like 10 billion fucking agents. And at the time, whenever they said that, everyone was like, wow, that's incredibly ambitious. I don't know if that's the greatest idea. Huh. And then they got to like 80 agents and they're like, no, we're going all the way with this. We're gonna do this. We're not making another one. We're not gonna do it. It's like, okay, but you probably should. No, we're not going to. It's like, bro, we needed a Siege 2 like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, and then I don't know, man. It's not even a shame because the game is still fun. They rode
that wagon until the wheels fell off, and then they put newer, shittier wheels on it. Like they're like, well, we don't have any more wheels, but we got these square wheels here that are made out of wood, and now they're just like trundling along. They've got like 2 spare tires.
Paint job.
Yeah.
Do like a CS2. Do anything, bro.
Yeah.
It runs.
My coworkers just started playing Siege again.
I mean, it runs amazing now because it's like fucking 10 years old.
It's funny to, yeah, it's true. But I mean, there was a while there where even as it got older, it was running worse there for a minute, and then it was like they recovered it. But what Crossley said is very true, which is Siege is very much a coworker game at this point. It is like League of Legends. Like, it is fully transcended into, I know 9 guys who play this game and take it far too seriously and are really annoying about it, and I never want to play it again. Yeah.
I don't know if that's what I said, but yeah.
I mean, to me, that's the definition of a coworker game. It's like Dota, League, Siege, Madden. It could be anything, but it's something that people take really seriously, and that's the one game they play. Like that, it has turned into that game. COD.
I mean, people do take Siege like incredibly seriously. That's for sure. I mean, we've been playing a lot of X-Defiant, bro. Like a damn good amount of X-Defiant, actually. You might actually enjoy that game.
I've managed
COD.
Finals.
I've managed
It's
to
COD,
not
bro.
download
The
that
finals
game.
is really good. The finals
wanna
is just
play
a
it.
really good game. That's a good game, bro. I like
I'll
the
play it.
finals.
I'll play it right now.
You want sauce? The finals has the sauce. It has a certain je ne sais quoi, as the French like to say.
Have they added a 5v5 rush mode yet?
I think they did.
Okay, maybe I'll download it.
When the finals?
Yeah,
I think they did add a 5v5. I don't know if it's Rush, but
it needs to be rush or I'm not interested.
I think they have a solo mode now too. I think they have a solo
Fuck
and a doubles
that,
mode
dude.
now too.
That is
but
not-
It's been a while.
That game
But
is
it's literally downloaded. Like it's on my computer.
it's is deleted
Yeah, same.
for me. It is the opposite of downloaded. If they added a team-based rush kind of gameplay mode, I would download it.
You don't like the cash out mode?
It's okay. I do admit that it brings the feels. Like every match feels pretty intense once you get on the same skill level as your opponents. Once you have some familiarity, you get good enough to where it feels like you know what you're doing. It brings that like, wow, this is a real nail biter feeling. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
But I mean,
It gets old.
but going back, I think X Defiant's good.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's basically COD just with abilities.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and I mean, like they really wanted to make it feel like the classic COD feeling. I mean, so much so that they got rid of skill-based matchmaking. So
Cool.
there's that as well. So you'll go from, stomping the shit out of kids to being completely stomped, and it's just sort of, well, whatever the heart of the cards entails. For
Here's
next
the
game
secret.
for you.
That was always happening even with skill-based matchmaking. Because that was the funny thing about skill-based matchmaking is you would stomp somebody, they would adjust your MMR, and then you'd get stomped, and then they'd adjust your MMR, and then you would stomp somebody, then they'd adjust your MMR, and you get stomped. It's the same shit.
But now the likelihood of what's going to happen is that you are going to be stomping people far more than you're actually getting stomped, which is the bonus of not having skill-based matchmaking.
That's the idea.
Now it's going to be that way for a certain amount of time until
Everyone gets good.
who is getting stomped on decides to leave, and then consequently the average player base ends up rising in skill level.
Yeah.
So, but right now it's pretty fun as like a casual thing that we've been doing. I mean, like we get like a group of the teams are like 6, and we can get like five people on average. Basically every single
It's like my
night
climbing
almost.
gym. Like you when I first started going to the climbing gym, they had different grades for the problems, and all of them were like the vast majority were like V4, V5 grade, 10 being the highest, 0 being the easiest. And now as the gradual skill level of the gym gets higher and higher, it keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. So more and more problems are now like harder and harder and harder. And it's cool for somebody like me who's kind of along the curve of the skill level of the gym, but like when I see people going there for the first time, they're like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah.
how does anyone do any of this shit? Yeah. It eventually becomes SOCOM, is what I'm saying. Or Counter-Strike. My gym is now if you loaded up Counter-Strike today as someone who has never played before, that's like going into my gym. Yeah.
Oh fuck, Counter-Strike. I'd be down to play Counter-Strike too.
When does Counter-Strike 3 come out? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, probably like 5 years from now. It'll come out like maybe like 4 years before Siege 2.
Yeah.
So no, but really though, like I think Siege 2 might take like another 5-6 years.
I mean, the way that they're going, I would not be surprised if it's like League. They just never do it.
But it's the only game that is like that.
What year? No, it's not, because League and Dota are both like that.
No, I mean Siege is like the only style of that game where it's like,
dude,
almost fully destructible environments, fucking.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like all that kind of stuff.
I see what you mean.
Like
You're
the
right.
tactical, all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, it was like, how long was CS:GO out before Counter-Strike 2 came out? I mean, it was about a little over 10 years. It was like 14 years or something between the two, right? 12?
For CS:GO came out what?
2012? Yeah. So it was about 12 years. I mean, the difference is that Valve doesn't even fucking touch that game. Like, they'll balance a little bit, but that game, they were like, this is balanced. You know what I mean? Like, here it is.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really need to be balanced.
And they don't add new, it's not like they have abilities or operators or anything. Like, they're just like, here it is. So that's the thing about Siege, is every time they add something, they've got to like fuck around with how the balancing works. But
Oh, so it came out in 2015, so we haven't even hit 10 years yet.
Siege, yeah. It's
That's
10
a
years
lot.
next year. So it feels like a long time because they keep adding stuff that makes you feel like it's been longer and longer ago since you played the game. It's just like League. If you take a year off of League, fucking forget about it, dude. You're back to square one. I mean, you don't know shit. But if you took a year, if you're really good at CS2 and then you go back in a year, you're good at CS2 still. They haven't changed dick about that game. Maybe they've added a few maps and that's it. So
That is true.
that's the problem with Siege.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Siege, is they treat it like a MOBA. But it's not a MOBA. It's a tactical shooter.
But I mean, whenever we jumped into Siege again, we didn't have much of a problem whenever it came to the new operator abilities, especially when like they're so easy to fucking explain.
Yeah.
I remember like there was like one dude. What was it, like the smoke?
Yeah.
Shit, the purple smoke dude, and all I had to do was just like in comms, I was like, I don't know what the fuck this smoke shit does, and then someone said it immediately. It takes like 2 sentences to explain.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, now I know what the fuck that does. So
Add Mikla into Siege, so you like whisper in a enemy's ear, like you sneak up on them, you whisper in their ear, and then all of a sudden their vision shifts to where now all of their enemies look like allies and vice versa. I should design video games.
that would be cool if ultimately it didn't end up just being a color palette swap.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it confuses you, so you end up shooting at and killing your teammates. They need to gamify friendly fire, is what I'm saying.
You know what? You should be able to infect one person and then turn it on and off at will. That would be the ultimate mind game shit, because then you're just palette swapping this motherfucker.
God.
That would actually...
They could make a Rainbow Six Siege style game out of Metal Gear characters.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like Psycho Mantis and fucking Vulcan Raven and all that shit, and Revolver Ocelot. Yeah,
that would be a sick ass operator. Are you kidding me? Dual fucking revolvers.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
It's so funny too, because like, yeah, I mean, it would be, but it's literally like Revolver Ocelot's thing is he has 2 revolvers, but for some reason he can only hit shit if he's bouncing it off of walls and stuff.
What are the operators from like a FromSoft Siege?
Well, Mikla, I guess I came up with the gameplay for that. You've got Father Gascoigne, who turns into a wolf and smashes through walls. You've got
Commander Gayass.
Yep, he rides his boar across the whole map and annoys everyone. Yeah, that one's tough because
You fit the boar in the building.
Yeah, dude. Well, you just smash through the door.
Oh,
That's
Destroy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, one thing that's cool about X-Define is they added in maps from all the other Ubisoft games. So
I did hear about that.
From Siege?
I did hear about that.
Clubhouse from Siege is in X-Define.
That is actually really cool. It's a good idea. Do they have the levels from Rayman Origins where the music plays?
No, they don't for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long until Rayman is in X-Defiant?
Well, they have to. They do it by like squads and stuff. So they're gonna have to add in Rayman. They're gonna have to add in that dude with the crown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are other beloved Rayman characters? There's the blue dude.
Yeah,
it's like a penis, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he looks like a penis. I don't remember that part, but I do remember. Yeah,
it's the shape of a penis.
My Merced is telling on himself.
Is colorized perfectly. Okay.
The shape was what I was worried about. I assumed your penis wasn't blue.
That's pretty. You got a lumpy ass blue penis, my dude. That's weird. Is he blue or is he purple? I thought he was
I thought
purple.
it was blue. I don't know. In
don't
my
fucking
mind, I'm
remember.
thinking of the
I'm
old
thinking of a
Rayman
blue guy
PS2 game.
That does not look like a penis.
Rayman blue guy. Oh yeah, you can have the Rabbids.
Put the Prince of Persia.
They can
in
add the
X-Defiant.
Rabbids in. I think Prince of Persia would work. Yeah.
Does he rewind time?
Are y'all gaming today? Merced, I know you don't do anything. Chandler, are you busy today?
I am always busy, brother. Yeah.
What a fucking piece of shit.
Maybe at the end of the day I'll be able to Thanks for listening to the Infinite Scale podcast, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Peace.